Welcome back. The judge in the Karmelo Anthony trial has authorized the release of video and other exhibits related to the trial. One notable piece of evidence was an 11-minute video that shows the moments before and leading up to the stabbing of Austin Metcalf by Karmelo Anthony, and a bit of the aftermath. For those that are saying that Karmelo was jumped, this tape certainly doesn't prove that. It doesn't show much, but what it does show is that Karmelo was not jumped. I don't care how these YouTubers try to spin it, it didn't happen. And I'm sure most of you guys have probably already saw the tape. I'm not going to show it. I got a few things I want to go over. I think that's pertinent to this matter. In a self-defense case, that's like one of those instances where in order to put the jury in your state of mind, you should probably take the stand. And when Karmelo didn't take the stand, I took a really harsh viewpoint of how I felt about that lawyer. I thought he was a dunce after that, right? Well, I found out some more information, and it's funny because the podcasters that are pushing this narrative that Karmelo was jumped, it wasn't a knife, etc., etc., it's like they skip over real evidence. I haven't seen any of these advocates. The one saying he was jumped and such, I haven't seen anybody read any official paperwork. I guess they feel like the white folks' paperwork is fake news, so whatever. But this is what they use in their courts. They have the power. At the time Karmelo sat down in the tent, some interesting conversation and rhetoric kind of went back and forth between the teams. Check this out. This is an article from the Courthouse News Service regarding the Anthony case. Prosecutors rest in the Karmelo Anthony murder trial after testimony on the track meet stabbing. Collin County District Judge John Roach asked the media not to identify the young witnesses. One 16-year-old Memorial High School student testified that he heard Anthony say, "I'm not leaving wall," after being asked to leave the school's tent during a rain delay. Anthony, a member of the Sentinel High School team, did not have a school tent at the track meet and was repeatedly told to leave. Now, look, of course, this has been said 1,000 times by different people. Those teens had no right to tell anybody what to do. They should have been getting an administrator. And, but teens are teens, man. You were teens once. I'm not going to throw that boy to the fire because they did something I probably would have did too when I was in high school. I play football. What if somebody comes over and sits on your bench from the other team? Just think about that. I know these are kids now. So, we have to keep things in context. We ain't talking about no street alley here. We're talking about a school function. The witnesses said Anthony called the students a bunch of who were not going to do nothing about it when he refused to leave. Defense attorneys maintain Anthony was speaking to a friend in the tent and acted in self-defense when confronted by Metcalf and his twin brother Hunter. Does that sound like a person that was fearful of losing his life? A lot of podcasters and black folk are saying, "Oh, those teens lied. They set him up. Oh, that poor baby was scared." Well, you have to prove that in court. Not on YouTube, not on Facebook, and not on Twitter. And that didn't happen. I find it highly funny that, it's always after the fact that these YouTubers and narrative pushers, come with their evidence after the fact. Think about that for a minute. So Karmelo's lawyer didn't have the evidence to counter the teens, and Karmelo didn't testify. Can you imagine Karmelo being on the stand for cross-examination under the premise that I was in danger and being grilled about saying F you to them, calling them and basically daring them to do something? That would have been ugly. And I submit to you guys that he would have definitely got more time. He probably would have got those 99 years had that prosecutor boxed him in real good. I hope that puts things in perspective for you guys, because, I try to get info that's been verified. If your podcaster or network that you're watching is not doing that, at the least they're lazy. And I won't speculate beyond that. Do y'all still think Karmelo should have took the stand? Sound off in the comments. There's one other thing that I want to address. Another piece of evidence released by the judge was a photo of the knife that Karmelo used to commit the crime. Now, I caught some heat from, some people in the comments about reporting that it was a knife. And of course, I reported the brand per police reports and news account. And some were pretty forceful responses. Check this one out. This is a black gentleman, who was critical of my report. I'm glad he watched it, though, and responded. I really appreciate that, seriously. But let me read his response. You should do your research before you get your ass on here, period. And speak, comma. He did not have a knife, period. He had a multi-tool that was used for his track cleats. So the gentleman wants me to abandon, searching for verified material, and maybe go to YouTube or Twitter to some of these podcasters and get my information. I guess that's pivot to the white man. Don't believe the white man court papers, I guess. But that's kind of stupid, because if it's you on trial, it's the white man court papers that's going to convict your ass. Just saying. Again, these podcasters, they don't even read official reports. When I see stuff like that, my rabbit ears go up. I would say this in regards to you folks pushing a narrative. When it comes to content creation reporting, including this network, I would employ those of you out there in the audience to not take these content creators' words for it. Go research it on your own. If you're that much invested in the case where you feel like you want to step out and call somebody out, then you should do due diligence to get the right info. Don't look like an ignoramus by suggesting something just because you heard it from some podcaster or at the dice game around the corner. That makes absolutely no sense at all. But then again, there's a segment of that subgroup that are willfully ignorant, that don't give a shit about the truth because they are self-serving or worse. And we have to be leery of those people. I want to thank all y'all for stopping in for this update. Like and subscribe and share this video. Peace and love, and happy Father's Day. I hope you guys have a very safe and great weekend.